Interviews with business owners and veteran executives who share their wisdom and expertise to help you de-stress, free up time, and make more money. Profits of IT. So welcome back to the podcast today of Profits of IT. I'm Jim Punzenberger. I'm the founder of Neutron Solutions. And here today, I have with me Corey Warfield. He is the founder of Shedwool, a scheduling company. I have a scheduling software solution, and also he is has multiple startups and is got does work in the crypto space and investing also. So, Corey, we want to just start out telling us a little bit about yourself. Give us a quick overview on who is Corey.
Sure. My name is Corey Warfield. I'm founder and visionary at Shedwool. I'm also the founder and chief connection officer at Corey Connects, a game that's gamifying connection and social media growth. I'm a social media growth strategist. I've personally amassed about 70 million views on LinkedIn alone. A lot of those have turned into revenue and relationships that have helped advance some of my businesses and the businesses that I serve as an advisor or consultant for. I also help people grow on LinkedIn. So it's been a fun journey so far. I just kind of entered entrepreneurship 5 years ago, and today I have a number of ventures, investments, projects that I'm involved with in my own podcast called Corey Connects.
Cool. And I see here, it looks like you have dogs also.
I do.
What? Tell us a little bit about your dogs. What kind are they?
Yeah, I've got two mastiffs. I've got a bull mastiff that I've had for about 11 years. He's just over 100 pounds. His name is Raj. And then I've got a Cane Corso, which is an Italian mastiff named Cora. She just turned 6 and she's about 80 pounds. So a couple mid-sized dogs that I love more than life itself.
Cool. I have two dogs myself. I have Truckle Labradors, so I love dogs also. Anyways, so Corey, what would you say is your superpower when it comes to business?
Yeah, I'm a super connector. I love connecting dots. And, I've done some joint ventures, but for the most part, I like to get in and get out and just connect people who should know each other around the world based on my relationships with ownership and leadership in some of the Fortune 50, Fortune, 500 companies, people that have had some successes in a number of industries, and, people that just have fantastic ideas, fantastic drive, or fantastic teams behind them. So I always say I like to connect people with ideas and opportunities.
Cool. So how can I learn from that, from your superpower of being a connector? What tips do you have for me to becoming a better connector?
I think for me, a couple of the tips that I would have first and foremost are to treat everyone like a friend, even strangers. That's a big one. That was kind of the success that I had early on when I got active 3 years ago on LinkedIn. Is I found the people with big followings and numbers that I wanted to emulate, and I just started engaging with them as though I'd known them for 20 years. I think listening is a big one when you're trying to connect. When people feel heard, they feel very comfortable. I've also found that anything that can drive out the feeling of judgment or condemnation, right? And then that goes kind of back to the scriptures. But when people feel like they're on defensive, or when people feel as though they are going to be potentially discriminated against in any number of capacities, that not only impacts that specific connection, but those feelings typically are amplified and reverberated. So I think just meeting people where they're at, having as little judgment and condemnation in your heart, listening to people, and having just that spirit of connection. When it comes to something like social media, I say being there to network, to meet people, to treat everybody like a potential friend is the way to go. Best way to kill connection on social and off is the hard sale. Right? I don't do that. If someone hard pitches me, I'll give them a minute or two of my time just to tell them why that was so ineffective and why they shouldn't do that again. But then I'm done talking to them.
Got it. So no hard sale and really being active on social media. You mentioned earlier something about everybody should have a podcast. Do you want to expand on that a little bit?
Well, I think what I had
Like
said is,
why should everybody have a podcast, and how would they benefit from having a podcast?
Yeah, what I'd said is that every business should have a podcast, and I think that's very true. I don't think every person should have a
Okay.
podcast. That I think,
I'm
frankly,
sorry, every
uh,
business.
yeah, yeah, I think if businesses that don't have a podcast, first of all, I think that's just going to start to become, a red flag when people are looking to do businesses. It's a way for people to get to know you. It's a way to show that you are relevant, both from a technological and social uh, standpoint. And I just think that it's the way to get the right people tuned in. People are always looking for podcasts. It's still a very underserved space. And I think it's a great way to establish leadership as kind of real people and get people that can resonate with that, to know who they are, because people at the end of the day do business with people that they know, like, and trust.
Cool. Got it. And so is it hard to do a podcast?
Not at all. I have a friend named Billy Samoa who came, he left Tesla as an executive to start a platform called Podify. They produce my podcast and host it. But in my experience, it's as easy as just hit and record. There are a lot of free platforms even that you can upload to, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, and all those. And I know people that probably spend less than an hour a week, literally, on their podcast and get, thousands of downloads and some traction on the platform. So from my perspective, it couldn't be easier. That said, some people overcomplicate things, and I've seen people that spend 10 hours to do a 30-minute episode and things like that. So I think, just like anything in life, you can make it difficult if you want to, but it doesn't have to be.
Cool. So keep it simple on the podcast. You don't, it sounds like you don't need to spend 10 hours planning for a 30-minute podcast. And
Yeah,
also, you mentioned something about the way to communicate with your audience. I think you mentioned like don't speak at them, speak with them. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
absolutely. I find probably 90+% of people on social media are there trying to teach people something. No one's on social to learn. People are there to sell people something. No one's there to buy. Right. So I think so many people show up, this is the Me TV show. Look at me, look at me. And when you've got hundreds or thousands of people competing for your eyeballs and your time, that message just doesn't reverberate. So when I work with private clients on growth on social media like LinkedIn, I always teach them, first thing to do, ask questions that people can actually benefit from answering. People love to be asked their opinion. People love to be, asked their input, their advice, their preferences, only if it can help them land a sale or potentially resonate with the right audience. So switching it from being all about you as the creator to all about your audience. And that's the way that I encourage people to kind of participate in the conversation rather than inherently trying to drive it.
So making it a two-way conversation, uh, speaking with them, so really it comes down to having a conversation with them, not just talking at them. Is that correct?
Yep.
Cool. Got it. Well, any other thoughts that you have that a business owner might benefit from before we go here?
I think if any business owner is not looking at blockchain technology and smart contracts right now, they're absolutely missing the boat. It's the most transparent, the most immutable way to conduct business. I'm very bullish on that technology. I'm launching an NFT creation marketplace and doing my own NFTs. We're launching the Infor token on some of the exchanges here within the
So
next few weeks.
if
Go
somebody
ahead.
isn't familiar with an NFT, what's an NFT?
Yeah, that it stands for non-fungible token, and it's effectively a way to take digital ownership of artwork or creations online. But what's more important than to know what an NFT is to know that it's on the blockchain. So it's underpinned by blockchain technology and smart contracts, just like anything else in the crypto or DeFi space.
Okay. And so how, as a business owner, I can then own NFTs? Like how are NFTs created? So, and then,
Yep. So the same way anything would be created digitally, it's more the ledger of ownership that's important, and that's on an immutable, decentralized repository. But as an example, I'll be doing a live song here in the next few weeks, where for an hour I'm just going to be freestyle rapping and making things up, and people will be sending me things they want me to incorporate in the song during the hour that I'm performing. people will be tuned in live. I'll have the only digital copy. Now, business owners that are going to tune in and say, hey, can you mention my business? Can you mention my product? Can you mention this launch? I'll incorporate that into the song. Afterwards, they'll likely want to buy ownership of that so that they can actually have rights to use the parts of the song that mentioned them. I'd imagine that Forbes or some other publications will pick it up, which will add value. And because it's on a blockchain, anytime anyone monetizes that, everyone that's an owner enjoys in that upside. So it's a way to make some money off of a digital asset as well.
Okay. And so the blockchain then is what secures the rights to it and the use of it.
Correct.
Got it. Cool. Okay. Well, thank you for your time here today, Corey. It was great learning more about connecting and social media and podcasts and I guess NFTs. So thank you for your time. And until next time on the Prophets of IT, bye for now.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Thank you for tuning in to the Prophets of IT. Please smash that like button, subscribe, and share.